real reason why they scheduled Trump's inauguration on the day of Dr. Martin Luther King. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Now, many people, not just one, not just two, not just three, four, five, many people have asked me, Shank, why would they schedule Trump's inauguration speech on the same day as Dr. King's holiday? You know me. I said, all right, let me do my investigation to find out. Salute to the chat. Salute to my moderators. Salute to the replay gang. Salute Kotan. Salute Nisha. Salute Positive Vibes. Make sure everybody pull up for a birthday celebration of my homegirl, Pretty Problem Niche. I believe it's tomorrow, Niche. But can I get everybody in the chat to wish my homegirl, Pretty Problem Nisha, a happy birthday? All right, and make sure we all go over there to her birthday celebration. Salute Coffee Girl, salute Coffee Girl, salute to the chat. All right, happy birthday wishes to Pretty Problem Niche. But let's get into this because you all know how they do the old man. They always coming for the old man. And like I tell people, salute top flight, salute top flight. I see you, top flight. It's not like y'all going to listen to the old man anyway. However, this is a very, very easy demonstration for me to do. All right. Salute Jamie. Salute Jamie. This is very easy, but it's shocking. And when I tell y'all how shocking it is, you all, instead of laughing at me, you all are going to laugh with me. But for those that want to know, why did they schedule Trump's inauguration the same day as Martin Luther King holiday? Salute Michelle. Salute Doreen. Positive vibes wouldn't be positive vibes. Salute Florida Queen if she didn't roast me. Salute Tracy. Salute to the chat. Let's jump into this demonstration, y'all. When I tell y'all it's shocking, it's very shocking. Let's jump into this demonstration.
And the shot rang out.
At the Lorraine area report of a shooting. We have information that the shot came from a brick building directly west. In the district, on Main Street. The young white male, well dressed, possibly in a late model white Mustang, went north on Main Street 610.
I'm Soledad O'Brien at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. 40 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot down, murdered right here on this balcony where I'm standing. The greatest civil rights leader in our nation's history, killed before his dreams could be realized. The alleged assassin, a small-time criminal on the run. Yet to this day, questions still linger and fester. And even some of Dr. King's closest aides believe the full story has yet to be told. We will try. He was an American martyr. A man who broke through the barriers of segregation with a philosophy of nonviolence, only to be shot down by a hidden gunman before his time.
We had to change the world.
40 years later, I walked to the tomb of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with his longtime friend and aide, Andrew Young.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. I think that's the appropriate thing to put there.
For him, yeah.
Yeah.
From his first days in the civil rights movement, Dr. King lived under the shadow of death. His house bombed in the Montgomery bus boycott, followers killed in Birmingham and Selma. He was stabbed once in Harlem at a book signing.
When they removed the knife blades, they left a scar in his chest shaped like a cross.
A cross he saw in the mirror each day when he got up.
Now, I'm going to stop right here, all right? I'm going to stop right here. I see my number one troublemaker coffee girl and my number two troublemaker positive vibes. I see they are back at it again. But I'm going to stop and I want to ask everybody this one question, all right? Do y'all think if Martin Luther King was still alive, do y'all think that he would support Donald Trump? Drop a 1 if y'all think Martin Luther King would support Donald Trump. Drop a 2 if y'all think he wouldn't. Salute all in the queue. Salute all in the queue. Appreciate you for pulling up all in the queue. How many of y'all feel like he would support Donald Trump? How many of y'all feel like he wouldn't? That's just a thought that I want y'all to just hold on to for a second until I come to my commentary, and then I'll go deeper into why I asked y'all that. Salute, Michelle.
And he said, every morning when I brush my teeth, I know that this day might be my last. He said, so I'm ready for whatever comes any day of my life.
He joked about death with his inner circle.
He'd always say, they're going to be shooting at me, but one of you guys is going to be jumping in front of the camera and take the bullet for me. And he said, I'll appreciate it, and then I'll preach the best funeral you've ever heard, and anybody ever heard. And then he's...
Salute, Miss Parker. Salute, Elizabeth. Salute, Elizabeth and Miss Parker. Salute to the chat.
Start preaching your funeral. He never let us get nervous about it, and I don't think he was nervous about it.
But it was there. It was very real.
Well, it was there particularly from the moment John Kennedy was killed. He just assumed that inevitably, if...
Now, I want to just stop right there for a second. All right? Now, when it comes to Trump inauguration speech, comes to that, he is the president, right? He is the 47th president. And I'm trying to come to an understanding of why people, if you have a problem, let's do it like this. If you have a problem with Trump's inauguration speech being on the day of Martin Luther King's birthday, drop a 1 and please explain. Please explain. Coffee Girl says, Inauguration Day has been on the 20th of January since the 30s. So I'm confused why people ask you this question, Shanky Lag. I was trying to hold it to the end of the demonstration. However, Coffee Girl is correct. I mean, and it's really nothing shocking about it. It's really nothing wrong because it's been January the 20th since the 30s. Top Flight says, has you seen the Pope message about Trump? No, I haven't seen the Pope message about Trump. I haven't seen that. But see, I know where everybody is going at. Well, those that have a problem, I know where they're going at with it. And I thought by now, we all would have a better understanding of what Trump has done. I thought that we would have a better understanding of what Trump is attempting to do. Luther says the current pope is an okay pope. No pope is perfect, but what are you going to do? Let me let this play out. Jamie says, I agree, coffee, it's always been on the 20th. So if it's always been on the 20th, why is it only an issue when it's Donald Trump? Let me explain something to you all. Donald Trump is not half of the man that many of y'all think that he is. Do he got a big mouth? Yeah. Do he say some crazy things out of his mouth? Yeah. But all in all, he's really a cool guy, believe it or not. And I'm going to tell y'all just how cool he is in 1 minute. Elizabeth says, exception is made for everything else. Doreen says, yes, true. He's really a cool guy. Let's remember before he won the election back in 2016. The majority of the people today that the people back then didn't have a problem with Trump. Am I lying? Let's call a spade a spade. Before Trump became president, the majority of the people loved Donald Trump. In fact, people wanted Donald Trump to be the president. So, what happened? What happened all of a sudden? What happened now? Those same people that was cheering Trump on, now they have a problem.
They could not protect the president. There's no way we could be protected.
This photo was taken in 1966 on an earlier visit to Memphis. At King's side, that's Officer Edward Reddit. On that visit, King stayed in his usual room off the balcony at the Lorraine Motel. Reddit remembers.
We put our bodies around him coming out of that room with Lorraine, and we walked him down those steps with our bodies to make sure that he was covered. Because it is dangerous. If you look at that name from that balcony, you know, so many areas you can see that's visible. If I wanted to get you.
Reddit approached King at breakfast at the Lorraine to tell him it was dangerous.
Well, he wants to have peace. I just like the room. He just laughed all that. I go out, and that's okay.
That was 2 years before Dr. King's death. By then, most of his civil rights victories were already behind him. His nonviolent protests brought out the worst in white America. Police dogs and fire hoses in Birmingham in 1963. Alabama state troopers beating back protesters on the bridge in Selma in 1965. And their violence would strike a flint on the nation's conscience.
And we shall overcome.
President Lyndon Johnson pushed through landmark civil rights bills to open up public accommodations, to ensure access to voting rights, and sign the laws as Dr. King stood over his shoulder. By the late 1960s, Andrew Young says, King had become exhausted.
And we're going to stop right there. Salute Big Pressure. Salute Big Pressure. Doreen says, it depends how Trump talks. Big Pressure says, these new liberals have moved too far to the left. Now, just a quick side note. For those immigrants, legal as well as illegal. You know how y'all feel, most of y'all feel about black people. Well, it's because of Dr. Martin Luther King and other civil rights fighters, the reason why you immigrants, illegal and legal, have the rights that you all have today. But that's another demonstration. That's another topic. But, all right, Doreen says you still have to watch Trump. There is something about him. I am not sure. You know what? There is something about him. But here's the thing. Trump, in my opinion, y'all, And remember, this is all my opinion. Top Flight says, I've been trying to find the like button. My slow ass finally see it at the top. Here's my thing, okay? I'm not saying that Trump is all good. I've never said that. I'm not all good. None of us aren't all good. You take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I thought that we crossed this line before. With Donald Trump, you have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. But one thing about Trump, I was talking with somebody today, and they're not a big fan of Trump at all. But they was giving me the good things because I said, give me some good things about Trump. They said, one thing that I could say about Trump, he means business. He's about his business. He's making a difference already, even before he got in office. The latest issue that Trump, and y'all let me know if y'all agree with this. Trump says, if you are getting child support from a child, if you're getting, not from a child, if you're getting child support because of a child, then on your taxes, you cannot file that child. I agree with that. I agree with that. How many of y'all agree with that? How many of y'all agree with that? I think that that's a good thing. Okay, if the man or woman is receiving child support payments, Trump says you won't be able to file taxes. You won't be able to file the child on your income. But let me guess. Many people disagree with that as well. Listen, y'all, listen. We got to get out of our feelings. We really got to get out of our feelings. And we got to give credit where credit is due. All right? But I'm going to get back to a little bit more of Dr. King, and then I'm going to come back to Trump. Because as I stated, with the help of Coffee Girl, the inauguration has always been on the 20th. So what's the big deal? It wasn't a big deal when Biden, it wasn't a big deal with Obama. It was never a big deal. But why is it a big deal? Because it's Trump. Appreciate that, Ryan. Appreciate the sub.
Pretty well worn out. I mean, he'd been going from 55 to 67 without a let up.
There was a rumor that Dr. King was planning a sabbatical, maybe in India, maybe in Africa. Was that true?
He was thinking about it. That was his dream. It wasn't India, it wasn't Africa. It was really Riverside Church.
The prestigious Riverside Church in New York was looking for a pastor.
He said that was my ideal. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
I speak out against this war.
But that never happened. Instead, this speech at Riverside would become King's moral watershed over Vietnam. By 1966, the U.S. was mired in a war it could not win, and blacks were the losers. Measured as a percentage of adult males, blacks were dying in Vietnam at a rate twice as high as whites.
In order to atone for our sins and errors in Vietnam, we should take the initiative in bringing a halt to this tragic war.
Everybody attacked him.
What was President Johnson's reaction after the Riverside speech?
Well, after the Riverside speech, I don't think we talked to him anymore.
He was angry.
Yeah.
On that day, April the 4th, 1967, as King spoke at Riverside, he would have exactly 1 year left to live. 3 weeks later, while King was leading an anti-war protest in Massachusetts, 1,000 miles away in Missouri, a small-time criminal named James Earl Ray would escape from prison. and start on the course that would bring both men to Memphis on April 4th, 1968. Ahead, a life spent outside the law.
They don't catch him on the other crimes, So he done a lot of things he got away with.
Now, I was waiting for someone to let me know why they had a problem with Trump's inauguration speech being on the same day as Dr. King. Once again, y'all, we gotta get out of our feelings. Like, just because we don't like somebody, we can't be so much in our feelings. A person can be teaching you something good. A person can be teaching you something that could save your life. But because you don't like that person, I ain't listening to him. I don't want to hear nothing she has to say. And I'm sure many of us have been in that situation where as though what you're saying is right, but because the person don't like you, the person have a problem with you, they won't take your advice. And you just sitting there like, trust me, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. But because they got a problem with you, and this is the cold piece, they will recruit other people. And I'm sure we all have been through this. When people recruit other people to go against you just because they don't like you. Now you got all these other people standing in front of you. You got all these other people that don't like you off of stuff that they've heard. So many people dislike Donald Trump because of what they have heard. Am I lying? Am I lying? If you talk to most people, and if you get most people to really, really get in detail what they dislike about Trump, I promise y'all, it's going to be something that they heard. They will never be able to sit down with you and walk you through anything that's concrete about Donald Trump. Let's start with the racist. Let's start with him being a racist. Let's start with him being prejudiced. What do most people lean towards? Shank. It's two things that they always say. Shank. He discriminated against those black tenants that was trying to rent from him back in the 80s. Shank. He didn't have nothing nice to say about the Central Park. Does that make him a racist? If you ask me a question about white people, and if I say, let me tell you something about those funky ass white people, do that make me a racist? If you ask me something about white people and I say, you know what? I'm really not feeling white people. Do that make me racist? Or here's another one. If you put a white female in front of me and a black female in front of me, and if I choose the black female over the white female, do that make me a racist? No, that don't make me a racist. So just because he didn't rent to those tenants, those black tenants, nobody never took the time out to find out why he didn't rent to them. Nobody took the time out. Right? We gotta stop jumping the gun every time we disagree with somebody.
As an armed robber, James Earl Ray was fearless.
I moved here in Maine.
His younger brother Jerry says another crook told him this.
They said, I never been with nobody that had as bold as he is, you know, he just walked in and put that gun on somebody, and just like it's everyday thing, you know. And he said, you don't have no fear of nothing.
Ray was born in Alton, Illinois, and grew up dirt poor along the Mississippi River in Mark Twain country.
So everybody just called him Jimmy, and nobody called him James. That came out when King got killed. They started calling him James Earl Ray, and we just all called him Jimmy.
By his mid-20s, Ray was a two-bit gunman. This is Ray on a hospital table shot by a Chicago cop after the botched robbery of a taxi driver in 1952. Ray went to prison for 2 years. Then 3 more years in federal prison at Leavenworth for stealing post office money orders. Ray turned down a transfer to an honor farm. Prison records say he did so because he didn't want to live in an integrated honor dorm. In 1959, caught after a grocery holdup in St. Louis, Ray was declared a habitual criminal and sent to the Missouri State Prison for 20 years. You have a guy who wasn't very bright, he wasn't a good criminal, he wasn't the sharpest tack.
Yeah, he's smart, he's plenty smart and intelligent.
Smart enough, Jerry said, not to get caught most of the time.
They don't catch them all in the other crimes, you know.
Now, I'm going to just stop it right there because I want to go to Trump's actual speech. I want us to tap into some of the things that he had to say. I want to tap into some of the things that he had to say at this inauguration speech. Well, I guess we're gonna have to come back. Let me take some questions. Let me take some of y'all comments. Let me see what y'all got going on down there in the chat. We'll come back. All right. Let's see what we got. Doreen says, listen before you talk. Albany says, watches CNN, the Clown News Network. Albany says, Joe, you are either Mexican or American, not both. Positive Vibe says, Jerry might as well go bald and let those side hairs grow. Give me some comments, y'all. Top Flight says, I don't care if you white, brown, black, green, purple, leading the world. Just make it great and push for everyone to be equal. Jillian says, he's a con man, a pervert. He's not an honorable man. I dislike his character. Coffee Girl says, you're still bald and Trump can't help you, not even with a tariff. Lord have mercy. There's Trump, everybody. Look at him. Trump and Vice President Vance. Let's check out a little bit. Let's check out. I still read y'all comments. Come on, y'all, give me some comments. I read y'all comments.
The band has performed in countless parades, community and sporting events, as well as competitions. They have also always qualified for the Ohio Music Educators Association state finals for 23 years straight. How about that? And to earn the highest rating in 18 of those appearances. Woo! And today they performed America's Sweet Land of Liberty.
Anna B says, Donald Trump, the same old rhetoric that divides, as he spoke more The joy on many faces in the room faded. Another presidency term marked by infighting and obstacles. It's easy to complete tasks on paper. How many of y'all agree with Anna B? How many of y'all agree with Anna B? Albany says Trump united USA as a whole. Joel says disagree. Mr. G Fresh says they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets that lives there. G's says so Kamala would have been a better fit. Allen says a lot of those women mad at Trump are about to get your same haircut, bro. You think so? You think so, Allen? You think so, Allen? But this is a marching band, everybody. This is a marching band. Allen says, yeah, they making a trend. If y'all agree with Allen, drop a 1. Positive Vibe says, Shanks, ball is too much. Mimi Def says, Trump brought together Democrats, RFK Jr. That's true now. He did. That's true now. Coffee Girl says, that's the 4B movement, Allen. Allen says they do it to get back at their daddies. Kristen dropped the 1. G Fresh dropped the 1. Ms. Parker laughing. G says he had a high school marching band. Kamala had Glorilla and Meg the Stallion twerking. Yeah. Ain't that something? Lord have mercy. You gotta love it though. Y'all gotta love this country. Y'all gotta love this country. Alan says, cheers from Reno, Nevada. Shout out to everybody from Nevada. Appreciate you, Alan. Shout out everybody from Reno, Nevada. The band is marching. Let me ask y'all something. Which one was better? Was Kamala's celebrity-filled campaign with Meg and Glorilla in them? Was it better than Trump's inauguration parade? What's y'all thoughts? What's y'all thoughts? They got the band now. What's y'all thoughts? Kamala had the rappers. So is it fair that Trump is having people march? There go Trump. Yo, wow. Yo, wow. That go Vance. That go Trump. Yo, wow. Hearts bleeds for you says Eminem bent it over for Kamala Harris for $1.8 million and she still lost. Y'all, wow. I want to hear what Trump has to say. I want to hear what he has to say. Let me jump to the chat. Positive Vibe says, I mean music, Miss Parker, they unseasoned. Connor says he was an all-state bagpiper in high school. Allen says a bunch dudes in skirts, but he's against train. Lord have mercy. What you say, Allen? A bunch of dudes in skirts, but he's against trains. Albany says, Alex, really? Then go. All I'm saying is, why would you stay here if you hate it here? Why do that to yourself? Juicy D says, keep it real. Would you rather go to a strip club to see your niece, or would you rather see your nephew in a drag show cabaret? Janetta says, what do you think about the president? Mr. G Fresh says, national health care for USA. Donald says, the reason Trump was inaugurated on Martin Luther King Day is because it's been done on the same day every year since Nixon. Yeah, we already went over that, though, Donald. We already went over that. Ms. Parker says, juicy, that's disgusting. But Coffee Girl says, I'll take boring with decency over entertaining but let anyone in the country. Alex says, never said I hated it here. I said I don't have to love it. I just have to live here. If you really are going to pay for the tickets and the housing, let's go. I'll give you my cash app. Albany says, kilts isn't men pretending to be women. It's culture. Alex says, put your money where your mouth is, Oregon. Still no Trump. I want to hear what he has to say. I'm curious to hear what he has to say. So as we already covered, it's not like it's a conspiracy behind Trump's inauguration being on the same day as Martin Luther King holiday is observed. It's been like that for a long time. The inauguration speech is always on the 20th. So I know that there were many of you that questioned me about that. Why is they having Trump's inauguration speech on the holiday of Martin Luther King? Because he's the president. And they have all presidents' inauguration speeches on January the 20th. And this is what I'm saying. By us being in our feelings, we really don't be realizing the things that we be questioning. We don't be realizing what we're thinking. You know, it's like we just come up with anything. You know, we come up with anything. I've even heard people even try to twist the narrative about Trump and how he feels about men that are born men, how he feels about them playing in all women sports. I've seen them twist that narrative. Shank, what Trump got against the trans? What he got against the transgenders? Why? It's not that he has anything against the transgenders. I'm sure many people don't have nothing against transgenders. But what he's saying is that it's not right for a man, if you was born with a male instrument and you tries to play in a all female sport, that's no, it's a negative. And if you can't see that it's something wrong with that, then you are part of the problem. No man should be playing in an all-female sport. I mean, if you agree, drop a 1. No man. Come on, y'all. Let's see. And this is what I'm saying. Things that he stand for. You cannot sit up here and tell me that you disagree with everything that Trump stands for. It's nowhere in the world that you could tell me that you disagree with everything that the man stands for. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Do I agree with everything? No. But the majority of the things I do agree with. But, I mean, come on, y'all. Would y'all like to see me playing in a sport that your child, your daughter, or your wife and them is playing in? Come on, y'all. Come on. All right. I think we getting close. For those that wanted an all-black band, there you go, positive vibes.
Represent historically black colleges and universities at the 60th presidential inauguration.
There you go, positive vibes. But remember, y'all, Donald Trump is supposedly be prejudiced. And I know, oh, Shank, the only reason why he got them at his inauguration speech is yeah. Tell me twice. That's like the black community went after Snoop Dogg and Nelly for performing. Like, get out of y'all feelings. Because I'm going to tell y'all, let them come to me and say, hey, Shank Rock, would you like to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration speech? Man, watch out. Watch out. But as y'all can see, this is an all-black band. So I thought he was so racist. Come on, people. We got to get out of our feelings. And as Jamie says, they had a black Baptist preacher speaking too. So where's the racism at, people? Where's the racism at? I don't believe for 1 second that Donald Trump is racist. And in my opinion, I think Donald Trump is going to do a fine job as a president. And this is just my opinion, everybody. In my opinion, I think Donald Trump is going to do a good job these 4 years that he's going to be running the country. I think he's going to do a good job. I think Donald Trump is going to bring this nation together. I think Donald Trump is going to bring this nation together. I do believe that we have issues. I believe we have issues in this country. I don't believe that it's going to be an overnight process, but I think in the 4 years that he's going to be in office, I do believe that Trump will make a big impact on bringing us together. As Americans, we gotta do better. I always say this. As Americans, we gotta do better. Regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, regardless of your political views, we are all one and we are all Americans. And until we see each other as our brothers and our sisters, until we love thy neighbors, then as a nation, we are going nowhere. I think Trump is definitely going to bring us closer together. Are we still going to have problems? Yes, yes. But I do believe that Trump will make us, he will get us to that point where we see each other as Americans, where we will love thy neighbor. Those are just my opinions, y'all. Those are my opinions.
If you were counting, close to 300 from the Mississippi Valley State University Band. You know, since its founding, the band has consistently played a significant role at their university across the United States. They have performed for athletic events, Mardi Gras parades, Rose Bowl parades, and many, many more. The Mississippi Valley State University Band takes great pride in presenting culturally diverse presentations for students, faculty, and the surrounding Mississippi communities. Take a look at that brass out there. Woo! That's just part of a big green marching machine. The big green marching machine from Inauguration, Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen.
And let me just say this, you all. Don't get left behind. It's a new day and a new time. We can't focus on the past. We can't hold on to 2024. We can't hold on to our past. We got to focus on the now and the future. We're moving forward. We're working on making America great again. The making America great again is the morals, the values, the principles. We are working on making America great for all of us. We cannot go back and turn and change what happened in the past, but we can't keep dwelling on it. We have to find a way to make things better for all of us. It's just that simple. And if you're not on that path, you're going to get left behind because you're still going to be holding on to the past. You're not going to be able to move forward because you are still caught up on the past. It's a new day and time.
Good evening, everybody. I was appointed by President Trump to be the special envoy for peace in the Middle East. And I'd like to describe to you some of the things we're doing and how it informs on President Trump's policies. First of all, it is an honor to stand before you today as I reflect on the enormity of the role that President Trump has tasked me with. I am constantly reminded of the privilege it is to serve under the leadership of my boss, President Donald J. Trump.
Look at his smile, yeah.
His presidency has provided a clear, bold vision for the Middle East, and it is this vision that guides every step I take in the mission. President Trump's leadership has redefined what is possible in the pursuit of progress and stability in the Middle East. His decisive, pragmatic approach ensures that even the most entrenched conflicts are met with fresh perspectives and innovative strategies. His policies have already...
Top flight. Stay away from those troublemakers. Top flight. You are angel, but please, top flight, stay away from those troublemakers. Jamie, Positive Vibes, Coffee Girl, Miss Parker, and the list goes on and on. Top flight, once again, stay away from my troublemakers. Please stay away from my troublemakers, top flight.
To deliver results in the most complex and challenging situations. The Abraham Accords, a testament to his vision and determination, have also brought historic progress to the region, transforming old rivalries into new alliances. These agreements are not merely symbolic. They represent a practical roadmap for peace, economic cooperation, and mutual respect across nations. My role, as President Trump has tasked me, is straightforward yet profoundly challenging: to turn his vision into actionable outcomes. He sets the agenda, he lays the framework, and he inspires people like me into bold action. My responsibility is to implement his vision, engaging with leaders across the region to find pathways towards sustainable peace and stability. And let me tell you, having Donald Trump as a boss makes this task not only possible, but far more effective.
Look at him, y'all. Look at him. Look at Trump. Look at Trump, y'all.
President Trump's reputation as a leader who delivers results resonates far beyond Washington. Leaders in the Middle East know he means what he says. His ability to cut through bureaucratic gridlock and focus on tangible results is the game changer. It allows me to approach delicate negotiations with the confidence that the full weight of the United States is behind me. The principles President Trump has laid out for our approach to the Middle East and foreign policy in general are fourfold, and they are clear. 1, respect for sovereignty. Every nation deserves the right to determine its own destiny, free from the interference of external powers. 2, economic prosperity as a bridge to stability. Through economic partnerships and investment, we can build a foundation for cooperation that transcends historical grievances. 3, courageous diplomacy. Real progress requires difficult conversations and bold decisions, and it is through these that trust is built and maintained. And finally, 4, reciprocity and accountability. The United States requires reciprocal actions from our partners. We are done carrying the financial burden for nations that are unwilling
Look at him, y'all. Look at Trump.
We are done carrying the financial burden for nations that are unwilling to fund their own progress. The days of blank checks are over. Partnerships under President Trump's leadership must be equitable, and contributions must reflect shared commitments to our goals. In my work, I've seen firsthand how these principles resonate. They provide a foundation that transcends politics and speaks to the shared humanity of all people in a region. Leaders across the Middle East recognize that this Trump administration is serious about results, not symbolic gestures, but real, meaningful progress that improves lives. Thank you. It's not always easy. There are moments of deep challenge and frustration. Decades of mistrust cannot be undone overnight. Yet I take comfort in knowing that I am not in this alone. President Trump's clarity of vision ensures that I never have to question what success looks like. His leadership provides the confidence and direction necessary to navigate these complexities. As we move forward, my commitment is to continue the work of advancing President Trump's vision for the Middle East. Whether through expanding the Abraham Peace Accords, fostering economic development, or facilitating dialogue between long-standing adversaries, my focus remains on actionable results. Let me close by saying this: a stable and prosperous Middle East is not an unattainable dream. It is a goal within our reach, made possible by strong leadership and unwavering commitment. Under President Trump's guidance, we are proving that the impossible can become reality. Thank you, but I have one more thing to say. We have some special people for me to introduce you to tonight. President Trump has been talking to them as well. They are the families of hostages from Israel who have been in Gaza for the last year and a half. There are many of them here today. Several of the families have lost children and loved ones, and they're here because they're part of an effort to retrieve their bodies so they can be buried in a proper way. Several have children who are still in captivity. There is an American family here whose loved one is scheduled to come out in 14 days, and they're going to be meeting the president tonight. So Let's give them all some love and a big hand. Come on up. And now, I get to introduce my dear friend and the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. So now the work begins. We won, but now the work begins. We have to bring them home. And you know, tonight I'm going to be signing on the J6 hostages, pardons, to get them out. And as soon as I leave, I'm going to the Oval Office and we'll be signing pardons for a lot of people, a lot of people. And thank you to Steve Witkoff. He's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. He's been a very successful man. He's a great negotiator. He's a wonderful guy. People love him. And he's got a tremendous power of persuasion. And that's what we need. We don't need stiffs. We don't need stiffs. We got a lot of stiffs. You just had a whole load of them. And to the former hostages with us today, welcome. Welcome home. Some of the folks are former hostages, not a good situation. The 3 young ladies that came home yesterday, you saw that, more coming home every day now, they're coming home. But they were hurt, One had her head blown off, fingers on her hand indeed was blown off. She was trying to defend herself from a bullet being fired. You believe this? A bullet knocked off her hand. I don't know. You look at it, it's a disgrace. We never stopped praying for you, and we're so glad that you're reunited with your friends and families, and God bless you all. And some of them are just saying, no, my son is gone, but please just bring home his body. Right, Steve? Many of you have told me that your son is gone, but bring home his body. It should have never happened. 3 years, it's ridiculous. Should have never happened. Wouldn't have happened. I also want to express my tremendous gratitude to the hundreds of thousands of proud American patriots who came from all across the country to join us in this celebration. It's a celebration of a big win. And you're witnessing the dawn of the golden age of America. That's what it's going to be. We're bringing it back. We're going to bring it back fast. We're going to bring it back faster. Let us also thank the incredible service members, National Guardsmen, Police, Secret Service, and law enforcement personnel who are keeping us all safe, even though they are great people. New York's finest. I grew up with New York's finest, and we got to give them their authority back. You won't have any crime. There'll be no crime. You give them little authority back. The whole way they run things in this country now, it's disgraceful. But it's going to change rapidly. We're going to make our cities safe again, too. Even though we're indoors, we've had a magnificent inaugural parade. And let's give a big round of applause. They were great. To all of the incredible performers and hardworking men and women who made it possible. Those people, really talented, amazing people. I also want to thank my wonderful family for being here, especially my beautiful wife, our First Lady, Melania.
She's smiling today, everybody. She's smiling today.
First Lady. And also, JD. How good has JD been? And his beautiful wife, Usha. How good is JB?
Shout out to the Vice President. Shout out to JD Vance.
He's a great negotiator, too. We need negotiators in this country.
Shout out to Vice President JD Vance.
The people on the stage behind, not only family members, as an example, Laura Trump, the wife of Eric. She was the head of the Republican Party, along with my friend Michael. Stand up, the two of you. What a job. What a job they did. They worked so hard. They knew they'd be rigging, but they said, we're going to make it too big to rig, and we did. We made it too big to rig. We won every swing state by a lot. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won the whole ball of wax. And now we're going to go and drill, baby, drill, and do all the things that we've wanted to do and bring your costs down, your prices down, and make our country safe. So thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much. What a job you've done, Michael. I'm never moving you, you know. He was thinking about getting a nice job in the administration. I said, no, I'm leaving you right where you are. You've done a very good job. We're not moving you, Michael. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Right here with us also in the arena, I'm about to sign some very important executive orders of our new administration. Hey, Don, will you stand up, please? Don is another one. How about Don? This guy. He's a popular one. He goes out and speaks. He gets a big crowd. He's a little on the rough side sometimes, but that's what you want. He's done a fantastic job, and he loves our country. Thanks, Don. Great job. You've done a great job. And Ivanka. And you know, Jared negotiated the Abraham Accords, which are it's the biggest deal made in the Middle East in many, many years, and it's really something. Jared, stand up, Jared. The Abraham Accords. And Tiffany's going to have a little baby. And Michael. And then I have a very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him? Thank you. He knew the youth vote. You know, we won the youth vote by 36 points. And he was saying, Dad, you got to go out and do this one and that one. And we did a lot of them. And he respects them all. He understood them very well. And he said, Dad, you got to go out, do Joe Rogan, do all these guys. And we did. We did. And Joe Rogan was great. They were all great, right? Aaron, they were all good. He understood the market. Another famous one, how about Kai? Stand up, Kai. Is that Byron Donalds back there? Stand up, Byron. Stand up. What a future this one has. What a future. That's great, Byron. Thank you very much. And how about Lutnick, Secretary of Commerce? He's going to take in more money than any country has ever even thought about. He's going to take in some money. And we have many others. Look, I'm not going to go through it, but we're going to sign some orders right now, and that's really what I want to do. So we're going to sign executive orders. First, I'll revoke nearly 80 destructive and radical executive actions of the previous administration, one of the worst administrations in history, maybe not one of them, the worst. Anybody that would allow millions of people to pour through our borders from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums, gang members to be taken off the streets of Venezuela and deposited in our country, and many, not just Venezuela. You know, crime in Venezuela is down 74% because they took their criminals and gave them to us through an open border policy of the previous administration. All over the world, they're emptying their prisons into our country. They're emptying their mental institutions into our country. It stops as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, it stops. So I'm revoking nearly 80 destructive, radical executive actions of the previous administration. They'll all be null and void within about, 5 minutes? Is that them over there? 5 minutes? And next, to gain immediate control of the vast federal, out-of-control bureaucracy, I will implement an immediate regulation freeze which will stop Biden bureaucrats from continuing to regulate. Most of those bureaucrats are being fired. They're gone. Should be all of them, but some sneak through, but we have to live with a couple, I guess. I'll also issue a temporary hiring freeze to ensure that we're only hiring competent people who are faithful to the American public. And we will pause the hiring of any new IRS agents. We will also require that federal workers must return to the office in person. And we're going to take the 88,000 people that they hired to go after you with guns. By the way, they're allowed to use guns. and harass you like they were so many other people? Remember this? Okay, remember? Do you remember a little statement about tips? Does anybody remember that little statement? I think we won Nevada because of that statement. But they went out and harassed you over the tips. In other words, we are restoring control of our government to the people. We're going to take those 88,000. Let's see if they'd like to work on the border, because that's where we want them really. So we're going to have no tax on tips, right? No tax on tips. We may have, like the Speaker of the House, is he here? He's done such a good job. Is Mike here? He's around here someplace. I saw him just a little while ago. Hello, fellas. Look at you guys. Yeah, I know it. He's great. He's doing great. They're all doing good. The Republican Party has never been unified like it is right now. They want to save our country. And we're going to more than save it. We're going to make it greater than it's ever been before by a lot. Next, I'm going to sign a presidential memorandum directing every member of my cabinet to marshal every power at their disposal to defeat inflation and rapidly bring down the cost of daily life, because your costs have gone through the roof in the last 4 years. Perhaps you didn't notice. Does anyone notice their costs are like double, triple, quadruple? You can't buy bacon. Apples have doubled in price. You want an apple, anybody? Pay twice what you did 2 years ago. We'll put more money in your pocket, and we'll bring back the American dream and to reduce energy costs and liberate our economy. So we have more oil and gas than any country in the world, and we're going to use it. We're not going to do the wind thing. Wind, big ugly windmills, they ruin your neighborhood, they ruin you. If you have a house that's near a windmill, guess what? Your house is worth less than half. And did you see up in New England with the whales? You see what's happening? So they had 2 whales killed in about 14 years. Last year and the year before, total, they had 28. So if you're into whales, you don't want windmills either. And they're the most expensive form of energy that you can have by far. And they're all made in China, by the way. Practically all of them. And they kill your birds and they ruin your beautiful landscapes. But other than that, I think they're quite good, right? Now, remember when we used to joke and kid, when we were kidding, but we don't kid anymore. They want to watch the debates on television. They want to watch your favorite president on television. But the wind isn't blowing, so we can't watch television that night, Gladys. Remember? Gladys, I'm sorry, the wind is just not blowing. We're not watching Trump tonight. But I'm immediately withdrawing from the unfair, one-sided Paris Climate Accord ripoff. The United States will not sabotage our own industries while China pollutes with impunity. You know, China, I mean, look, they use a lot of dirty energy, but they produce a lot of energy. And when that stuff goes up in the air, you know, it doesn't stay there. It's not like you got a wall. We love walls, don't we? Not like you have a wall around and it doesn't. It floats into the United States of America after 3.5 to 5.5 days. It floats across the oceans and it comes right over your neighborhood and it falls into your neighborhood. So they all say, we have to fight for cleaner air, but the other dirty air is dropping all over us. So what the hell are they talking about? Unless everybody does it, it just doesn't work. You know, we had the cleanest air and the cleanest water that this country's ever had under the Trump administration. And we didn't do anything to stop jobs and stop production, believe me. You're gonna see a lot of companies come pouring back because tariffs. I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary.
Appreciate that cash donation, 80s, baby. Appreciate that cash donation, 80s, baby. Appreciate that cash donation, 80s, baby.
Let's put God number 1. Let's put religion number 2. Love, I don't know. I got to put that number 3, I guess, right? And then it's tariff. Because tariffs are going to make us rich as hell. It's going to bring our countries businesses back that left us. And I'll also sign an executive order to immediately end federal government censorship of the American people. In America, we believe in free speech, and we're bringing it back starting today. To stop the weaponization. Oh, do I know about that? These creeps. Deranged Jack Smith. You ever hear of him? Deranged. He's a deranged prosecutor. He's sick. They suck him on me. He's now been reduced to getting on an airplane, going back to The Hague or wherever the hell he came from. We got to get rid of that guy. Hey, was he one of the many people that got a pardon today? Did they pardon Jack Smith? You know, did you know that Biden, while I was making my speech, pardoned his whole family? The brother, the whole deal was pardoned. Can you imagine that? While I was making my speech. Did everybody hear my speech?
Wow. Wow. If you would like to send a cash donation, my cash app is $ERICMCINT. My moderators down there in the blue, they have my cash app. If you would like to send a cash donation, my moderators has my cash app. Once again, appreciate the cash donation. 80s, baby.
It's so unifying. Don't talk about Biden with his pardons of his family. We want a unified country. They said, don't talk about the J6 hostages that you're going to be releasing today. Sir, don't put that in your speech, please. I said, but I want to put it in my speech. They said, sir, it won't be unified like it is. It's so beautiful the way it is. And it is getting great reviews. You know, if I put things like that in, I'll get terrible reviews. One little paragraph that's a little bit wrong, the fake news goes crazy, right? So I said, all right, I won't put it in my speech, but you know what? I'm speaking in front of a hell of a lot of people at a place called Capital One Arena, and I'll talk about it there. So we're going to be going over the beautiful Oval Office, one of the great offices in history. Even if it wasn't beautiful, it's the Oval Office, but it is beautiful. And we love the Oval Office. It all starts with the wars start and end there. Everything starts and ends at the Oval Office. We love it. But we're going to go to the Oval Office. We're going to release our great hostages that didn't do, for the most part, they didn't do stuff wrong. You take a look at what went on, and look what happens in other parts of the country. In Portland, where they kill people, they destroy the city, nothing happens to them. In Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city, nothing happened. Minneapolis, where they burned down the city, nothing happened. Essentially nothing happened. All they want to do is go after the J6 hostages. A 76-year-old grandmother was arrested the other day because she was looking, I think because she was looking at the Capitol or something like that. No, we're not going to put up with that crap anymore. And to stop the weaponization of law enforcement, I've been investigated more than any human being in the world. I believe I have the all-time record. Every day a subpoena. Every single day we get subpoenas. I was more than any person. Alphonse Capone, remember I used to talk about it? Now, Alphonse Capone, Scarface, he was a pretty rough guy. He was investigated about 1/100th what Trump was. My father's looking down at me, my mother. How the hell did this happen? You know what it is? They investigated their political opponent, the opponent of Biden, and then ultimately Kamala. Has anyone ever heard of Kamala? We had to beat two opponents. You know, we had to beat Biden, then we beat him. Now he goes on top. The guy was like 39 points down. I think I could have beaten Trump. You should have left me in. I would have beaten. No, his debate performance wasn't the best, right? That's what killed him. And then they had a change, and it's like you get into a fight. The great Dana White spoke last night. We love Dana White, right? UFC. That's like he puts in two fighters, one of them's getting creamed, getting really beaten, and they say, all right, take him out, let's put somebody else in to finish up the fight. That's what they did to us. They gave us somebody new, but we took care of both of them. So we beat actually two opponents. But to stop the weaponization of law enforcement and our government, I will also sign an order directing every federal agency to preserve all records pertaining to political persecutions under the last administration, of which there were many, and beginning the process of exposing any and all abuses of power, even though he's pardoned many of these people. Can you believe it? He's pardoned them. You know why he did it while I was speaking? Because that way I couldn't speak about it. I was speaking. I didn't know he did it. I finished my speech, and they said, sir, he pardoned his whole family. I said, ooh, can I go back out there and talk about it? Somehow that wouldn't be very elegant. Our First Lady would say, please don't do that. But we have plenty of time to talk about it, and we will. We're doing all of this on our very first day in office. You know, don't forget, we've been in this position, really, where we won the primaries in record time. We were the fastest win of a primary ever in political history, which is a very nice thing. It's nice to know. Well, the second election was rigged, so we knew we were doing well. And if it wasn't, you know what? If it wasn't, I would have never run. But this third one was just a monster. Boy, was that a big one, huh? That was a big one. On the second one, we got like 10 or 12 million votes more than the first one. How about that? We did great on the first one. We did much better on the second one. But man, did we do well on the third one. So we're gonna have some fun. It's very simple. We're gonna make our country great. We're gonna make our country great again. We're gonna make America great again. How good a name is MAGA though, right? You know? I was going to say keep America great, but unfortunately I wasn't great. Can't say keep it great. It will be great again, but CAG, keep America great, CAG, I don't think it's ever going to replace MAGA. Does anybody like CAG? I don't think so. It's never replacing MAGA. Nothing will ever replace MAGA. MAGA was the most successful political operation, political movement in the history of our country, maybe in the history of the world. Let's see what happens. Because we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. We got a long way to go. But we're doing this on the very first day in office, and in just a few moments, I'm not only signing the release of the J6 hostages, I'm signing other things that you're gonna love. Oh, you're gonna be happy reading newspapers tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So I just want to thank, I mean, look at this place. It's full to the rafters. You don't have any, look at those people up there. You don't have any empty seats. And by the way, the Capital One owners, they are so good. We got to root for their teams because they have been so great to MAGA, to us. And I just want to thank Ted and everybody. You guys have been fantastic. And the ice hockey team's doing great. Ovechkin's pretty good, right? They're doing great. So I want to thank them, Capital One arena owners. They have been absolutely fantastic. And thank you once again to everyone. And I can only tell you, you're going to be very happy. You're going to watch a lot of good things happen. We got to stop some wars that are happening and going on. Some stupid things are happening. The war with Ukraine would have never happened, and it has. As you know, Israel would have never been hit on October 7th, and none of you would be up here, none of you would even know anything about this tragedy that you're going through right now. But Iran was broke. Anybody that bought oil from Iran, they couldn't do any business with us. You're not going to do business with America. China passed, everybody passed, they were broke. They didn't have money for Hamas, they didn't have money for Hezbollah. And your sons would be alive, and they certainly wouldn't be incarcerated like they are. It's a shame, but we're getting a lot of people out in a short period of time. So I'm going to go right over to here, and I'm going to sign in front of you. Is that okay? Good.
Trump means business, y'all. You can say what you want to say about this man. At the end of the day, you got to give him his credit. Trump means business. Trump is all about business. He means what he says, and he says what he means, and he stands 10 toes down on it. Now it's up to us as Americans to do better. It's up to us as Americans to love thy neighbor. As Americans, we gotta do better.
The first is the rescissions of 78 Biden-era EOs and presidential memoranda.
You want to call it up? You want to say it? You want to say it?
Oh, do you, if you want me to, sir.
Why don't you say what I'm signing?
Sure. The first item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. Thank you, sir. The second item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration. Thank you, sir. The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories, again, until full control of the government is achieved and we understand the objectives of government going forward.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sir, the next item, as you announced in your speech, is a requirement that federal workers return to full-time in-person work immediately. Thank you, sir. Next, we have a directive to every department and agency in the federal government to address the cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly. Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. Yes, sir. We're going to save over $1 trillion by withdrawing from that treaty. And the next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty. Thank you, sir. This next item is a directive to the federal government ordering the restoration of freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech going forward. And lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. I'm going to take a few comments and then we are going to get out of here. Wow. I'm going to take a few comments and then we're going to get out of here. For those that had a problem or for those that wanted to know why they scheduled Trump's inauguration speech on the same day as Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday, they always held the inauguration speech for presidents for as long as I could remember. So it wasn't nothing foul behind it. It wasn't no ill intentions. All the president's inauguration speeches, you know what I'm saying, was on January the 20th. We have to get out of our feelings, y'all. Seriously. We got to get out of our feelings. That's first. As Americans, really as people all over the world, but especially for Americans, we got to get out of our feelings. We got to let go of the past. I didn't say forget. We got to let go of the past. We got to do better amongst each other. We got to learn to love thy neighbor. It's no longer a black thing. It's no longer a white thing. It's no longer a nationality, a race. It's none of that. Here in America, it's an America thing. No Democrat, Republican, no more division. No more rich, poor division. No more black, white, no more of that BS that was dividing us in the past. We beyond that. We're past that. Let's not focus on what Trump is not doing. Let's not focus on what Trump is doing. Let's focus on what you and I are not doing. Let's focus on what you and I aren't doing. All right? And I do believe that if we all learn to do better, I believe that America can be a better place. Salute everybody. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. If you new to the channel, I appreciate you subbing. If you sent the cash donation, I appreciate the cash donation. I'll have to check my cash app. Look, salute everybody, and I'll see y'all on the next demonstration. I want to know that I appreciate all of y'all. Salute everybody.